Thank you so much for that, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. The last of our scheduled speakers, I'd like to introduce my sister next. Now, my sister, she had the opportunity to beat me down here last month as she came to see the parents before I got a chance to. But yeah, let's welcome to the front Dr. Denise Rodney.
So I'm Denise, Laxley's daughter. The resemblance, I'm sure you guys is striking. So like my brother, it had been about maybe 17 months since I'd seen my parents. I was lucky enough to, this year in COVID, we had, I still had conferences that I had to go to. Instead of going in person, our conference this year was virtual. So I'm like, I could stay at home and do a conference, or I could actually go visit my parents and use their Wi-Fi to do my conference. So the timing was perfect because I ended up coming down on Father's Day. So we had fun. They got me a little tipsy that day. We went out to eat. And they told us it was like a 2-hour wait. And we were like, what? I don't know if we're going to stay here. But they got drinks.
Went to Papa Do's.
Papa Do's, yeah. And then we just got drinks and laughed, and the 2 hours flew by. So Dad's birthday is actually August 19th. We're doing this a little bit early because my kids will be in school August 19th. So we came down a little bit early for the birthday party.
He's like a queen now.
Multiple birthdays.
Yeah.
Early
So,
do this.
yeah, he was late. So when I came down about a month ago, I was like, Dad, you look great. You've been riding, well, I'm the one who's encouraging him to ride the bike.
Soon now.
So, but I was like, wow, you really look really good. And then we came down this week, and it's like he's aging backwards. There's something going on because, like, what? I mean, he's got this big milestone birthday coming up, and my mother does not want me to say the age.
You better not.
But I think my dad looks great. He feels like he's aging backwards. Growing up, what I appreciate about my dad is the stories. I think, I don't know if it's a Jamaican thing or if it's a Rodney thing or if it's just the friends in his group. They're all really great storytellers. And so when I think about it, some of that kind of goes back to the West African tradition of oral histories being passed down. But of course, the Jamaicans put their own twist on it. And there's a lot of humor, a lot of exaggerations, a lot of untruths. And so, but he and my Aunt June, a number of his brothers, are excellent storytellers. I think the term is like the African term is griot. Yes, and I think that's been brought into our home. I'm not a storyteller, but I got the advantage of these stories growing up. So like Aunt June talked about how they grew up with basically Rodneyville. They had so many Rodneys living next to each other. His dad had multiple siblings. Was it 7 or 8 or 9 siblings, and they kind of all lived next to each other. So they would, tell stories about how they would run from house to house, getting food, talking to their cousins, playing with their cousins, fighting with their cousins. But then just all these amazing, loving stories. And so that's, brought such a sense of family and tradition and Jamaican culture. Because my brother and I have basically grown up here in the U.S. We left when we were young. I think what drew us closer was in the last 3 years, my dad and I, somehow I got to be the chairperson of this huge reunion in Jamaica. Basically, nobody stepped up It's like we had a big old telephone call, nobody stepped up, and I was the only one left. And so I ended up being like the chairperson for this huge reunion. He was always there for me for that reunion, planning, you know, pulling our family together, making sure everybody felt included. And so I appreciated that relationship that we built on, that bonding. He's also been helpful as far as helping with mapping a family tree. So I've been talking to some of the people here. I did my DNA, was finding relatives, putting the family tree together. And so that oral history, he and his sisters have written it out. So now it's not just hearsay, it's actually a little pamphlet that they put together, a brochure, maybe 25 pages. From that, I've been able to put that into a family tree, expanded the family tree. We found other ancestors, and so on his side, we mapped the family back to the 1800s. And so I just really appreciate the stories, talking about family, talking about where our family came from. I think that's very important. And so that oral tradition, I'm not so good with it, but it's just made my life so much richer. And I hope my kids will appreciate it someday. Right now well, Jillian is 17, Austin's 19. We're still growing, still learning. But I think they will appreciate the written history that we have for our family. And we've done the same thing for my mom's side of the family, but I think it's really a gift that's been passed on. So, thank you, Dad. Happy birthday.
Yep.
And thank you for the stories. They were good kids, but they were mischievous kids too. Yes, yes. So some of the stories were the ones Yes. He had a brother, Uncle Fansa, who was the biggest storyteller of all. He's like a legend, and I think that's where that family oral history is passed on through that. So thank you for the stories and family bonding. Thank you.
We only have a few moments left in our evening. We did want, if anybody had anything else they may want to say, just a short minute or two before we kind of end it with the official toast. I welcome anybody who wants to say a word or so. If there is no one, going one. Oh, we do have one.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good evening.
Whichever one is fit for this occasion. I would be remiss if I did not get out of my seat and extend my words of congratulation to a dear friend and colleague. Dr. Rodney, I met him sometime perhaps in 2008 after I completed my doctorate degree, and we worked together in the same department, the same College of Education. The first day I met him, I said, I want you to be my mentor. I just chose him because the words that he expressed to me was of high esteem. I could see the knowledge just pouring out to me. And I said, Doc, I wanted you to guide me. And I found out that he was a great researcher. And most of his students at Purview had complaints. They said, Doc, it's very hard. I said, yes, that's how we Jamaicans do it. We don't play. Doc says, cross every I and drop cross every T. Every I. You'll be a great person. And those who did it actually got through. When my wife was pursuing her doctorate, I said, I want you to meet that guy. And she did, and she learned as well. So, Doc, I want to congratulate you, sir, on this special day. I don't see it as a one-day celebration. It should be every day.
I'm doing that.
Every day celebration and celebrated. And to his beloved wife, they always say behind every successful man, there is a woman. Right? She's there, keeping him burning, just going on with those burnings. So I congratulate you, sir, and have fun.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful last words right there. Have fun. That was the message we were trying to get across today. Waiting too long to have fun. Let's celebrate as often as we can. Grab life by the horns. I guess that I'm here in Texas. It's grab life by the Longhorns. So we want to say, well, we have a few more moments. Everyone who does have a drink nearby, if we could all just raise our glasses and toast the man of the hour. Celebration to Laxley, Rodney, happy birthday. Cheers. Sorry. I can't get pointed, but I'm not sure what you're saying.
I want to say thank you to the Jamaican track runners. They must have known we were having this birthday party. Yeah.
Wow. 1, 2, 3.